tell the jury, for the incident in question, tell the jury about your day.
I started the day. I got up and I was getting high throughout the day, and I just took off walking and ended up out here on Wayne Trace, out here at the gas station, and incident took place. That day, I was homeless. I didn't have nowhere to go. So I decided that at the time I was looking for a place to get high. I needed a water source in order to cook up the drugs that I had.
And when you say drugs, what drugs were you using on this particular day?
Crack cocaine.
Okay. And how often did you, or how many times did you smoke, just say, for example, before like getting to the Wayne Trace area?
At least about five, 6 times.
And you were on foot?
Yes.
Okay. And so you said you were smoking crack cocaine, and that you needed a water source.
Yes.
Why is it that you need a water source to smoke crack?
Because the drugs that I had already had prepared, I had already cooked it up. And the water, I had already consumed those. I needed a water source in order to cook more crack, which it consists of baking soda and powder cocaine, raw cocaine. And I had a spoon that you would put things that I had that I needed to in order to prepare the drugs.
Does that picture, does that exhibit contain photographs of the pipes that you were using? This just a yes or no question, it's not yours.
Yes, yeah, it should have. Yes, it should.
Okay, and you had those pipes as well, right?
Yes.
And you've been here, obviously, this is the second day of your trial. You've seen exhibits with the pipes, right? And those are the pipes that you had on your person?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Showing you what's already been in the States Exhibit 17, what is this right here?
That's a torch lighter.
Okay. So the torch lighter, States Exhibit 17, I'm publishing to the jury, and then States Exhibit 9, I'm publishing. Contains the accoutrement of getting high. So you were talking about the process.
Yes, sir.
And what's you said you said something about a mechanism for getting high.
Okay, the eyeglass screwdriver, like
knocked on the front door? Is that-
Yes, yes.
And then, what about the windows? Did you by chance?
I looked through the windows and seen nothing from, as far as I could see there, as far as from the point of the windows, as far as through the house, there was nothing.
So what-
furniture or anything.
I'm sorry, so what conclusion did you come to about the house?
That the house was abandoned.
Okay. And did, after opening the back door to the patio, did your conclusions change?
No,
Were your conclusions reaffirmed? After seeing the back door, I mean, the stuff, the trash in the back?
yes, it was.
Okay. So, what did you proceed to do? You just getting there, what did you proceed to do when you're talking about a water source?
Well, my whole purpose is just to find somewhere to get high and find somewhere to sleep. So, the back patio was sufficient for me until I didn't have no more drugs to prepare to smoke, so I needed a water source. And there was a bunch of trash on the back porch with water bottles in it, so I put the bags open, started going through the water bottles, didn't have no liquid in them at all, so I kept going through them, and my hands got like some greasy stuff like on them, so I took the shovel and started going through it.
Wait, what, is this? Is it 44? Is this the shovel?
Yes, sir.
In question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where did you find the shovel?
On the back porch.
Alright. Shovels on the back porch. And when you're saying you took the shovel and what were you doing with the shovel?
Going through the trash with it.
Okay.
Well, once I couldn't find anything to, as a liquid to cook drugs, I said I need to get in this house to get some water. So I've been in abandoned houses before, and in those abandoned houses, there are still functioning water, lights, heat, and things of that nature are still on. So I decided to try to pry the door open with a shovel, and I was unable to get to the locking device because of the weather stripping. So
You were unable to get to what?
the locking device,
Okay.
like usually you can slide a credit card in the door if it's locked, and it'll pop the door open. So I figured the shovel would be flat enough to do that. Well, it wasn't because of the weather stripping, so I pried the weather stripping off and tried to rip it.
And you tried to rip it off. Okay, permission to approach here. States exhibit, I'm showing what's been admitted, that states exhibit is 19, 20, 21, 22, and then 25. Let's start with, states exhibit 19. Is that what are you looking at here?
That's the weather stripping on the door.
Okay. And what's the relationship between the shovel and the weather stripping?
I pried the weather stripping off with the shovel.
Okay, we're with the United States exhibit 20.
Okay, that's the weather stripping. If you notice, the weather stripping, when the door is shut, the weather stripping is preventing you to get to the locking thing.
Okay.
So that was my purpose of prying the weather stripping off.
Alright. This would be unnecessarily cumulative. States exhibit 21. So we're looking at now, what's it? I failed to publish States exhibit 21 for the weather stripping, that's what he's talking about, so publishing that to the jury. States exhibit, what's been admitted as states exhibits 22 and 25. I'm handing you states exhibit 22. What do you see in that photo?
The weather stripping and the door locking mechanisms, devices.
And states exhibit 25.
Is the
did you say to him?
I actually thought he was a squatter as well, so I asked him, what are you doing here? And he asked me, what are you doing here?
So you asked him, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
And you asked him what are you doing here because you thought he was a squatter.
yes,
And he asked you the same thing.
yes,
And he testified earlier that he made a gesture towards you.
like a threatening gesture, and I basically,
Okay. Permission to approach him.
Granted.
I'm showing you what's been admitted at State's Exhibits 32, 30.
a person, a mace container, a person mace container, it's a one purse, it's a one-time use purse mace container.
Okay, and 33 is a closer view of State's Exhibit 32. Other than the mace itself, what else do you see there?
As far as the little black hat, that's the thing that came off, it's the nozzle for the mace and the key thing.
Okay, could you explain for the jury okay, when you say the key thing, what do you mean the key thing?
Okay, it's got the little boot on it and a little latch, this little latch that you can hook to your purse or your pocket. Well,
Why is that significant?
to hold on to it,
Which portion of it are you talking about?
the key, the little ring right here. I had it around my finger.
And this is State's Exhibit 33 that I published, and there's a key ring on there, and there's you indicated there's,
Like a latch, it's like a little.
that you can clip onto a purse or something.
Yeah.
But the key ring, how did you utilize the key ring?
I would put it around my finger and hold the mace. The key ring would be around my finger, so if I got into any tussle, I wouldn't lose it. It wouldn't come attached from me,
Okay.
detached from me, and I would have the mace thing in this fashion.
Okay. And so, your encounter with Mr. Pavender, he approaches, and what happens after that?
Once we had our little brief conversation, he turned with a quick threatening gesture. I fell back and I basically,
Okay. What happens after that?
he pushes me and runs out the house.
And you're still under the impression that he's a squatter.
Yeah,
Okay. And you're still under the impression that the house is abandoned, right?
yes.
Okay. So what happens after that?
Well, once he ran out the house, I figured, well, he might not be here by himself.
Okay.
So I went out the house to see if anyone else was in the house, and it was a room that I come to, and I seen a few items, like a couple cell phones, and it was $6 on the thing, so I picked that up, and I proceeded to go throughout the house.
Hey, before you go about what you did after, proceeding to go throughout the house, at the time that you used the mace to spray Mr. Pavender, were you thinking about going throughout the rest of the house to steal anything?
No, I just was looking to see if there were other people there as well.
And so it's fair to say that the taking of the phone was, it was just an opportunity, and you took advantage of that.
Yeah, I seen that and just decided that I'll take those.
Okay. All right. And at this junction, you're still thinking that the house is abandoned.
Yeah,
Okay. And did you go upstairs?
yes.
Eventually? Okay. And what happens after that?
Well, once I got downstairs, I still had the shovel, and I pushed the bedroom door open because the light was on, so I pushed the bedroom door open with the shovel and noticed that it was two men laying in the bed together on the floor. So that's when I realized, well, shit, well, excuse my language.
Don't swear in court, Mr. Baker,
I'm
it's
sorry.
completely inappropriate.
I'm sorry, I apologize, you know. I was like, well, someone might be coming back, so.
Okay, all right. Again, your state of mind, okay, so the first room, is it fair to say that it didn't register after going to the first room that, okay, maybe this is happened, it wasn't a squatter? You didn't come to that realization as you went upstairs? Is that fair to say?
No, even after I got upstairs, I still felt like, after seeing what I was seeing, I still felt like it was squatters.
What did you see?
A place of filth. It was a place of filth. A mattress on the bed. A mattress laying on the floor. Two people were inside the laying on the mattress. And that's when I decided that, you know, it just might be someone else coming back. Somebody might be coming back.
To which, what happens after that?
That's when I decided that I'm just gonna leave this and see if I can find something.
And you did leave, indeed,
Yeah.
and we saw footage of, you leaving
Mhm.
the area in question, or the residence in question, right?
Yes.
And, eventually you come in contact with law enforcement, right?
Yeah.
And you gave a fictitious name, right?
Yes.
Why did you give a fictitious name?
At the time I was scared, high. Really didn't want to go to jail, but come to realize it's basically that I just might be going to jail.
Okay, but it took you a long time to come to that realization, huh?
Yeah.
Because you stood with this Sept Dion.
Yeah.
Was that the name?
Saffron.
Saffron Dion?
Yes.
Okay, well, where did you pluck that out of thin air? Where did it come from?
No, I didn't. Well, it's a family name. It's what
Whose family name?
my family, that's what they call me.
In your family?
Yes.
Okay, so, did you give a fictitious date of birth?
Yes, I did.
You gave a fictitious social security number as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay, you heard the officer testify whether something was inverted, or I can't remember, but a couple of the digits were off, but close to Derrick Baker.
Mhm.
Okay, and, you know that not, of course, you know, disclosing your true identity was wrong,
Yes.
right? And of course, you know that, you know, smoking dope, smoking crack, getting high is wrong, right?
Yes.
But you've got an addiction.
Yes.
A long first came upon the house, was it your intent to commit a felony to commit a felony theft, robbery, when you broke into that house by virtue of putting your weight on the door, using the shovel as a, can't think of the name of the object. Try to use this as leverage or whatever, right? Did you, at that moment, were you thinking that I'm gonna get it, my reason for getting in this house is to rob, steal, or anything like that?
No, it wasn't.
And when you did encounter Mr. Patton, he made a judgment towards you, is that correct?
Yes.
And were you thinking at that point, was it your intent to rob him or to take anything from his person or anybody's personal presence at that time?
No.
So, but you do admit that the taking of the phone, that's theft, right?
Yes.
You do admit that spraying Mr. Cavalier with the mace, I mean, they caused physical pain, that constitutes battery, right?
Yes.
Okay? You do admit that breaking the door open and entering that home, which at the time you didn't realize that anyone was living there, that's residential entry, you do realize that now, right?
Yes, I do. Yes.
And is that that's what happened in a nutshell, is that right?
That's exactly what happened.
Right, I pass the question.
Steve, Your Honor?
How'd you do that? Your hands were cuffed behind your back.
There's a video.
How did you do that? I'm not asking about something. I'm asking you, how did you do it?
I didn't
Answer my question.
answer that. May I demonstrate for the court, Your Honor?
Sure.
I'm in the back of the police car. My hands is cuffed. The drugs is on this side of my body. I fished them out of the little pocket that they were in and got them. And I put them in my mouth and I start chewing on them until they were dissolved and consumed.
Officer Bryant missed those when he took everything else out of your body.
Mr. Rose, there's a video that shows it.
Again, I'm asking a straight question, yes or no?
Yes,
He missed the drug.
Yes.
That's all I'm asking. You said you entered the house, it's about 2.5 minutes from the time Parliament runs until you exit the home. So you said you entered the house, got into an altercation with him, and then pepper sprayed him. But you had no intention of stealing anything from the home at that time. Do I understand you correctly?
No, sir.
No, sir, you did not intend to steal anything.
No.
Okay. But in 2.5 minutes, you changed your mind, decided to go through every room in the house and take any cell phone you could find.
No, that was not my intentions at all.
What was your intention in going through and taking all those items?
My intentions was to see if there was anyone else inside the house.
So she, first bedroom you come to, we've heard from her vendor, 2 phones, $6. You admitted you took it, right?
Yes,
That's just moments after you pepper sprayed, correct?
yes,
Okay. So then, you decided, I'll just keep looking, you go upstairs, correct? You said that, right? You testified you went upstairs, correct? With the shovel still in your hand? Why'd you take the shovel?
because there was no specific reason why I took the show. I just had the show. It wasn't.
You feel you were justified in pepper spraying our vendor?
I mean, I was put in a threatening position, so I didn't want to be hurt.
Sorry, I wanna understand the threatening position you're in. You say you walked around the house, looked to see if anybody was inside, kicked in his door, and were in his kitchen.
Objection, Your Honor, there's no,
I'm gonna ask you, and you're saying you were in a threatening position.
Hold on, what's your objection?
kicking in the doors is baseless.
I'm sorry. Use your shoulder, but whatever you said you did to break the door open. So you did that to break the door open, and yet you are the one who is in a position that is being threatened.
At the time, Mr. Grove, I had no idea that anyone was in the house, that it was a residence of anyone's.
Because you told Barry Thompson in your interview that day that you'd been there twice before, and you knew a guy there, and you had been to the house before. You told him that in the interview. So is that a lie?
Yes, it's a lie.
Okay. So now it's a different, now because that wouldn't suit the story today, you've now changed it to, I've never been to the house before, even though you told Barry you'd been there twice before.
Well, it's a lot of things that, Mr. Groves, that I wish I hadn't done that day, and that's one of them.
So you lied about the men sexually touching you?
Yeah, I made it, this story was made up.
You lied about the fact that you felt like you then therefore were justified in taking their phones because you were sexually touched?
That's all that was made up.
That's a pretty great story. And then here today, we're supposed to believe this new version.
It's the truth.
The torch light on the back porch was yours, is that correct?
Yes,
You broke open the back door.
yes,
You took all the phones, correct, and the Apple Watch, correct?
yes,
You took the charger.
yes.
You assaulted our vendor by pepper spraying him in the face, correct?
At the time, and today, I still don't feel like I assaulted him, but I did, Macy.
How, in your mind, how would you answer this for me? How do you justify that you feel like you were not assaulting him when you had kicked in the door and entered his home, and he is asking you, why are you in my house? How are you in the right and he's in the wrong in that situation? Can you explain that to me?
I think I just did.
Because
I
you felt threatened.
I think I've explained it to you several times.
When you went upstairs with the shovel, you described finding a better door up there. And you said that you used it. Why did you have to use it to get the door open or push the door open? Can you explain that, please?
Your question was,
You went upstairs and you said you used the shovel to push the door open. Why did you use the shovel to push the door open upstairs?
it was a light one. If the door was ajar, it was a light one, and I just used the shovel to mess the door open.
And what did you find inside?
I seen, it was a scene of filth, and it was two people laying in the bed, and my thought process of being abandoned and squatters never changed. I figured that somebody else will be coming back, so this house was already occupied.
But that didn't
There
stop
was
that.
already squatters here, and that it might just be more. Somebody's coming back.
So did it not at some point dawn on you with somebody coming into the kitchen, you finding a bed and two phones downstairs, $6 your shrine and stuff, and two people upstairs, did it not at some point cross your mind that maybe you were in somebody's house?
No, no,
So you pushed open the door with a shovel, there's two people in there that are sleeping in the bed, you took the Apple Watch, correct?
yes,
You took the charger,
yes, all of it was connected together.
where at in that room where the two people were sleeping, was it connected together? Where was it at?
My memory doesn't serve me, I just know that it was a watch and a phone laying on the floor, and I picked it up.
And how wide open was the door when you used the shovel to open the door? Can you show me with your hand? You said you didn't use it because it was cracked and it was late.
No,
twice that day, you didn't own up, you told two different stories to the police, now you told the third. Why should we believe you?
Today I stand accountable for what I did, and that's the truth.
You stood accountable that day too, they just caught you coming from a home where you kicked open the door and stole a bunch of phones. What's the difference between your accountability that day and now, 2.5 years later, when you're still accountable for the same crime? You've had time to think about what to say. Why do you not know that's not a lie?
I think I just answered that question 3 times for you.
Well, let's answer a few more questions. You lied this morning today too, didn't you? You were not homeless at the time of this video.
Yes, I was.
Truthfully, were you supposed to be living somewhere at that time?
No.
You weren't supposed to be at the Community Corrections Residential Center during that time period? You didn't have an ankle bracelet on, and were living at the residential center?
No.
You didn't cut that ankle bracelet off? And plead guilty to doing so?
Yes, I did.
In January, you're correct?
Yeah.
In fact, you were supposed to be still serving your sentence, but you cut your ankle bracelet off and left the Community Corrections Residential Center, correct?
Yeah.
That's why you're homeless. Because you chose to commit a crime instead of staying at the residential center, right?
No.
Really? So you wouldn't be serving your time if you hadn't cut the ankle bracelet off?
I'm saying, you're asking a question, and I'm answering it as honest as I can answer it.
I'm sure of that.
I cut my ankle.
Right?
I took my ankle bracelet off. I was supposed to be serving the sentence, and I decided that I'd rather be.
Be out on the street. Where did you finish that? What did you decide over the court order you served? What did you decide you should do?
My addiction become the bigger part. So that was the purpose of me cutting my ankle bracelet off. My addiction was bigger than me.
You got them to take you to the hospital. Right.
Today,
Gentlemen, you need to wait until each of you is done speaking before the other one starts to answer or ask a question.
thank you, Your Honor. Today, I wish I hadn't done it. And I put me in this position.
So instead of serving the sentence you were supposed to, where did you chose to cut your ankle bracelet off?
Action.
And commit
Objection.
I'm adding to, I haven't finished my question yet. It's not an explanation.
It is action.
All
No, I haven't finished.
right, gentlemen, let's act professional. What is your objection, Mr. Barfield?
Ask and answer.
I haven't finished the question.
And that's true. What's the rest of your question?
Instead of serving your sentence, you cut your ankle bracelet off and decided to go and break into somebody else's residence or home on a day when you didn't have permission to be inside the home. You chose it.
No, that's not what I decided.
You didn't.
No.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about, lying to the police that day about your identity. So there was a warrant out for your arrest at that time, correct? Because you had cut your bracelet off and left the residential
I
center.
wasn't aware of it.
You didn't think that if you went to the hospital and cut your bracelet off and slipped away from residential services, you didn't think they'd issue a warrant for you?
I'm saying it's a possibility that.
Possibility. So it didn't cross your mind when the officers were asking your name, your date of birth, your social security number, it never crossed your mind that by giving it to them, they may look you up and have to take you to jail?
I'm trying to answer your question.
No, you're not, because I'm asking a question
I'm
right now.
trying to answer your question as honest as possible. I just don't know where you're getting to with that being, having to do with the situation that I'm on trial for. I'm not on trial. I'm answering your question. I'm not on trial.
I'm not the one who's asking questions, sir.
Gentlemen,
I'm not on trial.
Mr. Baker, I'm talking to you too. Both of you, wait till the other is done before you answer or ask the next question. What is your question, Mr. Groves?
Did it not cross your mind that while the police had located you after having just broken into a home, that by giving your correct name, date of birth, and social security number, that they may have a warrant out for your arrest and arrest you, and that that's why you lied to the police about who you were?
No.
saw two people in the bed, why did you think you had a right to the possessions that were in there if they were sitting there? Why did you think you had a right to the watch and the thing if you saw two people laying in the bed?
I'm very ready to sleep. And I just stole it. I just took it.
After you opened the door with the shovel still in there.
I mean, yeah, I pushed the door with the shovel.
And I think I asked, and I apologize, I did it. You had to have the shovel, why still at that point? Why did you still have the shovel in there?
Objection, or ask and answer.
I candidly don't remember that either.
Why did you have the shovel
For
still in
no
there?
particular reason, I just still have possession of a shovel.
You think if they'd woken up, they would have thought it was a weapon in your hand?
He said,
Objection, Your Honor, no, speculate.
I'll withdraw.
Okay, show the drum.
How did the pepper spray, base end up on the street, did you say?
it was one verse use, it had no more use, so I just threw it in the street,
You got rid of it.
discarded it.
Why did you discard the house after you used it?
Because it still was attached to my finger, and I just poured it off and threw it.
You said you knocked on the front door before you went around the back?
Yes,
We've seen the video footage, doesn't ever show you go to the front door, how do you explain that?
because you can't see it because of the box truck.
But you can see you, and you walk by the house and
You can
you
see
see
me
me.
walking past the box truck, but you cannot, once I got in, but in back of that, in front of that, on the side of the box truck, you can't see anything, you can't see the front of the house, and you can't see me.
Oh, really? But you do see you come out the other side of the box truck still walking down the street. You're saying in that short time, you ran the door, ran back, and then went down the street further?
I'm not understanding your question.
In the video, it shows you go behind the box truck and then emerge on the other side of the box truck, still walking down the street until you're past the house. Then it shows you, and you can't see this, walk behind them. So at what point did you walk to the front door?
It's when I exit the house, it's when I walked to the front, came out the front door.
You said you went and knocked on the front door
I
to see if
knocked on the
anybody
front
saw.
door, I knocked on the front door. Looked through the windows, looked through the windows. The purpose of me doing this, to find out if it was anybody's residence or if it was an abandoned home. I knocked on the front door, looked through the window, no one came. So I decided to walk down the street, you see that, walking down the street, then I doubled back, I came back, I decided against, okay, well, let me go back. So I went back, and the time I came, I approached it from the back. This time I went to the back. I explained this, and it's not going to change, Mr. Rose. I went through the back, I went through the back, through the patio door. I went through the, trash, like I said, rummaged through the
Okay,
trash.
you're passing my question, way past my question. My question is simply that, are you saying that when we watch that video, and you disappear behind the box truck, and then you appear on the other side of the box truck, still walking down the street, you're saying in that time period, if we watch and count seconds in there, you had time to run to the door, knock, look through all the windows, come back, then walk down the street and turn to go behind the house. Is that what I'm hearing? I just want the jury to know if they're gonna watch the video at some point.
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
it's at one point when you see me walking through that yard, when you see me walking through the yard,
That you can see,
I had sit on the porch at one point in time. You can't see that either.
you can see
I
the
said-
right side of the house.
Wait. Let him finish first.
I had sit on the porch at one point in time and laid back on the porch and got high.
tell me you don't understand it. If you don't remember, tell me you don't remember.
Absolutely.
That sound fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why didn't you leave after spraying Mr. Singh?
Because I felt like I might just have had the house to myself, but I wanted to make sure there was no one else in there, and I discovered that there were other people in there.
And that might actually be the next question. The next question is, why did you look for other people? What was the point?
The point is because I had encountered squatters in groups, and there has been incidents where squatters has got into physical confrontations with each other over those abandoned houses. There's been incidents where squatters has set other squatters' abandoned houses on fire. So that was the thing where I just wanted to make sure there was no more squatters. And once I discovered that those two people were there, I figured there might be a group of them. So the two and the one, that's three. So I didn't have no idea what else would be there once I did what I did. So
Mr. Barfield, your witness.
Had you not encountered anybody else and had come to the realization that the house was quote unquote yours as you described it, would you have continued to get high?
yes, I would have continued to stay at the house. Then I would have been there alone. It would have been a place of my dwelling, of my, where I was at.
And also, what is the, when you say, because this is actually, just hearing this terminology is new for me, and it's probably new for some of the jury. What is a squatter? Like, when you say squatter, what is a squatter?
A squatter is people that are homeless, but they get into abandoned houses, abandoned buildings, garages, sheds, anything that will provide a shelter, something of that nature. So there you have your homeless people, which will be those who sleep on the outside of the building at the mission or in tents where they have a place in Fort Wayne. They call it Tent City, of a bunch of homeless people that live in tents, versus your squatters who will go and break into a empty building or an empty house or abandoned house.
And you thought Padner was a squatter?
Yes, and I thought Mr. Preventer here was a squatter. He fits the typical squatter appearance. He had filthy feet. He had clothing that looks like he stole off of someone's clothing line, or he got from somewhere, I'm not sure, but he definitely looked like a squatter to me.
No further questions.
No questions, Mr. Baker.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the other question that was written was, can we see the pictures again? Those have been admitted. You can look at those all you want during deliberations. Here you go, Peter.
No further witnesses, Your Honor. Defense arrest.
No rebuttal, Mrs. Your Honor.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard all the evidence that you'll hear in this case. You will not hear any additional evidence at all. What we have left for you are closing statements, sometimes called closing arguments, as well as the instructions as to Indiana law. That process takes some time to get that prepared, as well as let the lawyers get their arguments ready for you. Fortuitously, it's 11:51, so it's almost the perfect time for break for lunch. We'll get some of that paperwork ready to go, and we can have closing arguments for you afterwards.